We are currently a family without pets, with 2 self-employed parents in a small house with 3 kids, 1 in middle school, 1 in elementary school, and 1 in diapers. My husband and I just don't have the time, space, or skill necessary to be responsible for another living being. I know, people do it all the time. I've heard from pet owners who tell me having a dog helps you live longer, who explained to me we're actually the perfect candidates for having a dog or cat because we're home all the time. And our animal will never be lonely and will bring us years of companionship and love. I nod and I smile and I say, maybe someday when the kids are older. But inside I'm thinking, wasn't years of companionship and love why I got married and had kids? I mean, wouldn't we all be throwing back Cosmos a la Carrie Bradshaw instead of getting married and procreating if it didn't come built in with the promise of years of companionship and love? The truth is, I have diapered and changed and potty trained 3 humans. Okay, my 3-year-old is giving me a run for my money still, but you get my point. I just can't willingly invite any more poop into my life right now. In the suburbs, though, there's this unspoken pressure to have a dog. Are your kids allergic? I get the question all the time. You know, there are some hypoallergenic breeds that don't have pet dander. Or my favorite, what about a hairless cat? Seriously? You think I would be happier owning a bony, hairless, rat-like animal that poops in a box rather than remain petless? My kids are not allergic, and in all honesty, I love dogs, and cats actually. The real truth, beyond time or money or poop, my truest worry about owning a pet is, what if it dies? In my defense, I come by my fear rightly. Because the one time I broke my rule about pets, caved to the pressure, our pet expired right before my children's eyes. That's right. Her name was Goldie. She was beautiful, with a cheerful disposition and shiny, lustrous scales. Yes, Goldie was a goldfish. I did not go to the pet store to buy this goldfish. She was given to my daughter as a birthday party favor. I know what you're thinking. What kind of sick lunatic gives a goldfish with a life expectancy of 3 minutes to a kid at a birthday party? Thanks for coming to our party. Here's your heartbreak in a little plastic bag. Thanks. Bye-bye. It was impossible to say no. I was trapped. I weighed the options. Watch my kid throw a hot, messy fit in front of 20 other parents or take the fish. I took the fish. When we got home, my girls gave her a name, Goldie. Goldie spent her first night swimming in a large red wine glass. The next day, we went out and bought her a proper fish bowl. At the pet store, against all better judgment, we started to get into it. We bought pebbles and plants and that little plastic house and some sunken treasure. Goldie's pad was tricked out. The kids were over the moon to finally have a pet of their own. They took turns feeding her, not too much, just a pinch. They were very responsible goldfish owners. And I was a pet-owning, work-from-home wife and mother of 3. How badass was I? Until one night, my husband was out of town, dinner was in the oven, the kids were sitting at the kitchen table, and for some reason, the girls asked me to put Goldie's bowl on the kitchen counter so they could watch her swim while we ate dinner. I obliged. What was the harm, after all? Goldie brought them so much happiness. I was standing behind the counter, and they were sitting at the kitchen table, and we were all looking at Goldie's bowl when, I swear to God, that goldfish leapt up out of the water, took a final gasp, splashed back down, and then just floated there, belly up. My kids and I had just watched our fish have a heart attack. There was a moment of disbelief, followed by frantic cries of, "What's wrong with Goldie?" And then tears. Dinner was burning in the oven, salmon, ironically. Not only did we just watch our fish do a death leap, but dinner was ruined. I mean, how could we? When the kids calmed down, there were questions. Why did she jump like that? How long had she been sick? Answer, who knows, her color seemed fine. We Googled it. Perhaps her water didn't have enough oxygen. Perhaps we overfed her. Perhaps it was just Goldie's time. After a brief moment spent indulging my own self-loathing about the fact that I could not even take care of a fish, followed by a fantasy in which I returned the dead goldfish to the birthday party parents, I decided I needed to say something poetic about Goldie to console the kids. I cradled my sweet little girls in my arms, wiped their tears, and explained that Goldie's dramatic leap from the bowl was actually her last act of bravery and love. She was an extraordinary fish with talent and chutzpah and spunk. She may have flamed out too soon, but our fish had style. Miraculously, this seemed to help them. And even more miraculously, it went on to help them in coming years, when they lost a great-grandmother, followed by my mom, followed by her sister, in heartbreakingly quick succession. Because of Goldie, they knew that each soul who leaves this earth has one final great act of bravery and love. Goldie taught my kids about loss. She taught me that despite being a lousy fish owner, I'm not a half-bad mom. And who knows, maybe once the 3-year-old is out of diapers and finally uses the dang potty, maybe, just maybe, I'll consider getting a dog.